You're listening to the Blue Raider Podcast, your number one resource for all the latest news, updates, and game recaps from Middle Tennessee athletics. Join us every Tuesday for our weekly interviews with players, coaches, and local media personalities alike. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to like and subscribe on all our socials. We're on Instagram, X, Twitter, and TikTok at Blue Raider Pod. If you're currently listening on your favorite streaming service, we also offer a visual presentation on YouTube at Blue Raider Podcast. Lastly, I'd love to hear your feedback, so don't forget to subscribe to GoMiddle.com to discuss this week's episodes along with the latest news and updates around Middle Tennessee. Welcome back into the Blue Raider Podcast. I'm your host, Jake Bolden, and today is Tuesday, April 30th, and what a wrap-up it has been for MTSU athletics this last week. A lot of news ahead as we have an interview today with head men's tennis coach Jimmy Borendame. Last night we had the selection show for the men's tennis after they come off of their fifth straight Conference USA title. They will be heading to Starkville, Mississippi to face off against Georgia Tech in the first round. Obviously, that tournament is hosted by Mississippi State, so you're looking at a rematch with the Bulldogs there in Starkville in the round of 32. So an exciting week ahead, as well as previewing all that today is head men's tennis coach Jimmy Borendame. Prior to that interview debuting here with you, stick around towards the end as we discuss the latest news on the basketball front. Both the Lady Raiders get two pickups this week, one from the transfer portal, one from the high school signing class, and then the men's basketball on Friday also had the announcement of two additions via the transfer portal for them as well. So stick around as we break down those new pickups for basketball and, of course, our Raider wrap-up portion where we'll go over baseball, upcoming softball, and then track and field and golf. So just stick around for all that. But without further ado, here's that interview with head men's tennis coach Jimmy Borendame. All right, welcome back into the Blue Raider Podcast. I'm joined with head men's tennis coach Jimmy Borendame, fresh off of his fifth consecutive Conference USA title. Coach Borendame, how you doing?
I'm great, Jake. Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
First and foremost, again, congratulations on winning 5 straight Conference USA titles. A major accomplishment for any sport at any level of play. But I really want to know, when you win 5 straight, do they kind of stand out differently to you? Like what makes this one so much special compared to the other 4?
Yeah. I said that somebody asked me this the other day in the press room, and I've been really fortunate. We've had like these little clusters of parts of the team that have been integral pieces of the team. The first few years there was Chris Edge and Max Roush and Tom Moonen, and then they graduated, and then I had Modal, Rocha, and Slump, and they went 4 for 4. And now I've kind of got this new group. This year I had 7 out of 10 new guys. 70% of a new roster. And, that was tough. It's not like I just, rolled over, the entire roster and had the whole team back from the year before. I don't know if with the transfer portal, that's even a thing that anybody has anymore. But, that really stuck out this year. And then obviously getting to do it in the new tennis complex was huge. Yeah, I mean, that would probably be the biggest thing this past year. There were just so many new pieces, and we never really had that before. Usually like 1 or 2 pieces changed, but that was it. But sadly we've won the 5, and the only thing I've started to think about is how on earth am I going to win 6? The next one already is on my brain.
Right, and I think it was certainly a special situation for you guys this week. I know you hosted some men's tennis alumni this last weekend, and again, as you already touched on, having it all there at the new complex. So it's just kind of a culmination of a lot of history, as you've touched on in our preseason preview about how it took years to build the program, not only physically with the roster, but with what you have there on the grounds there on the corner of Middle Tennessee Boulevard and Greenland. So it's really is something special, and I'd love to just kind of hear your piece on what it means to win it, in that facility as you talk about what it takes to build something like that.
Yeah, I mean, what a weekend. I mean, I don't know if I'll do that again. 26 men's tennis alum in town from out of town, not like Murfreesboro people, but out of town. and hosting the championship, and we had tennis hit arounds, we had golf, we had dinners, barbecues. It was a lot, but everything came together really well. But something that was really important to me, like right when I got here, within the first few weeks of me being here, was just this outpour of people reaching out to me, from the community to alum, welcoming me, excited that I was here, and I've gotten to know so many alum being here 14 years. I mean, I think I'm the second or third oldest head coach we've got on in tenure on campus. And I when we travel on the road, I try to hit up people that are in the area and say, "Come watch us." And yeah, I mean, this championship was I had been thinking about it for a long time. Where the court's going to be ready, where they're going to be done, and could we get a big crowd out there? And I mean, Sunday's crowd was just awesome. I mean, the place was rocking. I mean, there were easily 300 plus people, and they were rambunctious, so it was good. Um, I'll remember that one forever. So pretty cool.
Yeah, the crowd was definitely present too on ESPN Plus. I was pleasantly surprised again with the amount of people that were there. You had the culmination of all those groups, like I said, the alumni, and then you already have your mainstay and fans. So that was a special sight to see. But I'd love to talk a little bit about the team as far as how they've gotten to this point. I know that you play the toughest schedule of any mid major in the country. I don't have any stats to prove that, but I feel pretty confident that I can say that. When I look back at the schedule, you make that trip, or you have the home matchup against Oklahoma, then you make the trip to Texas with SMU. You drop those back-to-back contests, and from then on, you haven't lost much. Was that two-game stretch there? Was that kind of a turnaround for you guys, or was that kind of like, hey, we're not as good as we thought we were? What kind of happened there in Texas?
Yeah, man, that was a crazy weekend. We were so excited to have Oklahoma here on that Friday night. We had a great crowd again, and we've been notorious for being really strong at home. I think since 2018, we'd only lost 3 matches at home,
Well,
and we added 2 losses this year. To We lost to Oklahoma, and then somebody else. I guess I'm blocking it out right now, but
Cornell.
Cornell, and that Oklahoma match just kind of stung because we had match points to win the doubles on my court, of course, and I let them slip away. And then in singles, we were rocking and rolling. I think Leo was up 4-1 in the 4-1 in the third, and then he lost. Kroslak at 4 was up 4-1 in the third, and then he was letting it slip. We just had the match in our hands, and we let it kind of get away. And then traveling to Texas with that quick turnaround. If I look back on it, I wish I wouldn't have done so many of those where we played at home on Friday night and then got in the car or the plane early Saturday morning to travel and play on Sunday. It's tough. But those matches are just so big. I mean, SMU and there's such great opportunities. We've got to do it if we want to keep being tough and have those. We don't really say RPI in tennis, but strength of schedule is just so high. I mean, and you know, I, we've kind of eliminated some of the easy matches from our schedule. And next year, I've made another adjustment. I'm not going to do any double headers where we play 2 in one day. I've realized we don't get anything out of that second match. It's I used it in the past as a way to get some extra guys. Some of my youth a match, maybe a guy that's like number 7, get him in, but I've eliminated all those. And so each year I just try to tweak a little bit. But yeah, that since that trip, we got some rest, and then we've been rocking and rolling.
Right, absolutely. And tell me a little bit about those matchups you got there as far as your doubles teams. I know you going into the year, you knew you were going to be tinkering with them a little bit, and you did there for the most part. But here near the end, obviously Horak and Ray Queen are kind of your number one mainstays, and you feel good as far, because I know the last, I think, 4 or 5 matches, all of your doubles teams have been the same against prominent opponents. Is that kind of something you feel really confident about going into the NCAA's now?
Yeah, I mean, Horak and Raquin are like, what are they, 25 in the country? They're going to make NCAAs. Actually, this is really cool. We're going to be the first team since 1998 in tennis to be in the team nationals. Leo's going to be in the singles nationals, and then Leo and Andre will be in the doubles nationals. And we haven't done that. And the list of schools that are in all three is like, I don't know, maybe there's 10, maybe not even 10 that get into all three. So that's going to be really cool. But yeah, the doubles is gotten sharper, which has been huge. It's been neat to see Marcel step up and get back in the doubles when he wasn't in the doubles at the beginning. Matsuoka and Kroslak kind of coming together as a squad. They're really good friends, and it's pretty cool to see them use their bond to muscle through some matches. And they're crazy young too. So, yeah, I like where the doubles is right now.
And you feel good as far as going into that NCAA's, that's where that's kind of the grouping, or is it always matchup dependent still?
Well, so I'll have to submit my nationals lineup, I think by Sunday, and then the draw will come out on Monday. I'm part of the NCAA tennis committee, so I'll fly to Indianapolis on Sunday, and I'm part of the group that decides who gets in and where they go for the regional and things like that. And so that's a pretty cool process to be part of and whatnot. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about the lineup right now. I mean, at this point, if I didn't, that'd be a little worrisome.
Right, right. Well, we talk about Ray Queen, and we know how good he is. And as you said, he's going to the singles nationals. And then Horak is another guy that has kind of been up and down this year, but he can be pretty steady for you. I think Kamrowski has come around here late, but one guy that I really want to hear you touch on is Kroslak. He's a guy that started the year kind of on the fifth, sixth court. He's just kind of been a steady Eddie for you there on the back end.
Yeah, yeah. Kroslak's pretty. He's really stepped up. Coming in January is so difficult. New coaches, new culture,
Mm-hmm.
new everything. I mean, I made this comment. I was telling Sam Doughton that the kid didn't even have a bed his first 2 weeks. Like he was sleeping on an air mattress. Just getting in the routine of class and everyone speaks. In Tennessee, even myself being a Yankee, we have a little bit of an accent. And not all of his professors are from Tennessee and different things like that. It's so funny when a guy first comes, they even have a hard time ordering off a menu,
Mm-hmm.
and you can always figure this out because they kind of look to their left and they look to their right. They'll just be like, yeah, I'll have what he has. He has no idea what he's doing. And it takes 2-3 months to kind of get used to all that. And it's hard to expect their best tennis and their best performances from them, with all that going on, you know, um, mentally, emotionally, physically. And so, 2 months in, 3 months in, and we're starting to see what this guy can do. I'm very excited about Jacob.
And we'll switch back there to Horak and Kamrowski. Those are guys that we know when you're clicking, and we've already discussed the importance of the doubles point. You know how big that is for you, because once you secure that, you have to just win half the singles. And Ray Queen is a guy who's pretty consistent. Like I said, we talk about Kroslak, but if you can get one out of Horak and Kamrowski, you feel really good about it. And with those four guys there and your six, you feel good. And the makeup there of all those guys collectively, the chemistry is good. But as far as playing around with, and I'm just curious about the process as far as going into nationals. Is that you say you submit your lineup there? I assume that refers to the doubles. As far as the singles go, is that one of those things that you can still play around with, or that they're set on the court that you decide prior to the matchup?
Yeah, so I have to submit the lineup in order, and then I can remove a guy, and guys I'll have to slide up, and then doubles is a little different. You have to direct line substitute. So let's just say like Horak, and let's hope knock on wood, he gets sick and I got to put somebody that's not in with Raquin, and then I have to reorder them in order of strength. And yeah, it really messes with things. When one guy goes out in tennis, it really throws things off. And that's why, like this year, I've been really lucky. We played Memphis March 31st, and on Friday before Easter, Kroslak rolled his ankle and Kamrowski rolled his ankle within like 5 minutes of each other. It was like I don't know. I thought it was maybe an or early April Fool's joke. I mean, one
Hmm.
went down and then the other one went down, and we're carting them off in golf carts. I mean, and neither one played against Memphis, and we still beat a top 25 team with Igor in, and with Matsuoka had to step up, and Javier Cueto stepped in, and it just shows that we've got that depth, and that was awesome. So I think that might be one of my proudest moments so far this season. Getting the team to believe that they can win that match. Without a couple other guys and different doubles teams and all different types of things. But credit to our leaders and our culture there.
Absolutely. And I'm interested to hear kind of what the preparation for this upcoming NCAAs is like for you guys, because you talk about, you never know when that seventh man needs to step up for you. So what does a preparation look like for you guys going into your matchup this coming up week? And not just for your top six and your doubles, but collectively as a program, what is kind of the preparation you have for them? And I know how important it is to make it to that second weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I'm juggling a lot right now. I mean, we took yesterday and today off. I know the boys were celebrating. Today, I mentioned earlier, they're doing this big fun event with the all dodgeball, student athlete dodgeball later tonight that I'm hosting, and kind of putting on a different hat. I mean, tomorrow we'll start preparing. I've just been working my tail off with some meetings and some relationships to work on fundraising, to continue to help use this momentum with the program, and keep things going. And we'll go back to the grind tomorrow. We do 2 private lessons with each guy, one-on-one, and then we have team practice from 1:30 to 4, and then Coach Russo takes them in the gym at 4. So we don't stop. We're not backing off at all. We've gotten this program where it is with recruiting and development. So we'll just keep pushing that envelope. It's really important this week because I think it's tough when you don't know. I don't like this week at all because you don't know who you're going to play, and everybody's just kind of smiling and happy-go-lucky, and then I'm the grumpy guy yelling at everybody at practice because I'm happy we won, but I'm not. The goal is to get to the round of 16. The motto for the year is the chip on our shoulder, TCOOS 16, which means, and we put it on some of the shirts on the sleeve, the chip on our shoulder. 16 is to make it to the round of 16. No men's tennis team in Middle Tennessee has ever made the round of 16. And, that's where we want to go. So, I'm going to have to push the envelope hard this week because the guys think they'll be on vacation for a couple of days until we figure out who we're playing. And I don't know if they know what's coming to them tomorrow or not, but I'm going to push them.
Have you been spending a lot of time with Mason working on mantras?
You know, I have not. I've always done it. And then, and each letter kind of stands for something. I mean, the is thankful, and C is coachable, and we got all of the different letters, and it's really important to understand the process. So those are each letter stands for something in our process and our culture. And then at the end, the guys like the 16 because we want to have some type of result oriented goal for the program, and if you're not trying to strive for new heights, you're not trying to get better. I always think you're getting worse. So people think I'm crazy. I mean, we just raised all this money for the tennis center. We still have a little bit more to raise, and I've already started a couple new projects already to kind of keep moving the needle in the right direction and capitalize on some momentum as we push into this postseason.
Yeah, coach's mind never seems to rest, especially this time of year, and it's exciting to hear about some of your kids there. What's kind of their attitude about the whole process now that, like you said, you brought on a lot of new bodies, new faces to the program, and now they've kind of been enveloped in the culture, like you say. What's kind of their attitude? Are they? It doesn't. If they're anything like their coach, I know that this is a business trip for them, unless, like as you say, a vacation.
Yeah, no, there's no vacation about it at all. We'll practice 2 times per day, but they've got exams. So reading day is Thursday, and then they start some exams. So we got to work around those schedules a little bit, and do that because I'm huge on students first and student athlete, and so I've got high expectations with the grades, and we've got guys with academic scholarships that need to maintain GPAs and that comes first. So, yeah, I mean, I think they'll know a little bit more about what I'm expecting from them tomorrow when they first get to practice. But I'd be shocked if they all think that it is going to be all roses and butterflies. As I don't know. I don't think I send that message at all with my demeanor and the things that I do and say. And so a lot of the teams take the personality a lot of their coaches. And I was in the office on Sunday at 7 a.m. Just I had a lot of things to do and kind of keep things going. I wasn't going to sleep in and enjoy the win. Took the breakfast of champions picture with the fam, and then
Right.
went went to work.
Right, right. I'm interested to know a little bit what the morning after a championship looks like for you. I mean, you've done it 5 times now. Does that the things change, or like you say, you're still preparing for the next step in the program?
Yeah, I mean, I've got things to do. Heck, we had a bunch of alum in town. I mean, I'm really big on relationships, and I think I still got them all right here. I mean, handwriting thank you notes to all the guys that came out, and making sure that we're doing a big event on Monday at the Boulevard. So I want to get the word out that the selection shows there. Come celebrate with us, figure out where we're going to go, and then Jeff Neville at the Boulevard is just huge supporter of MTSU and men's tennis, and so he's going to donate 15% of the proceeds to the men's tennis program in our student impact fund, which many people don't know is a very cool thing. There's the Alston case. It was a law that was passed in 2022 that enables every student athlete the ability to earn about $6,000, and we'll put the proceeds to that so we can keep doing that to support our student athletes, and international student athletes can all receive that money, and it's all equal across the board. So it's on my radar as my next project. So and Derek and I are we want to work on that as well, and enhance that for all our student athletes. So it's another pretty big project coming down the pipes.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that about the NIL situation, and then, that's an ever changing thing. Tennis is definitely different when you compare it to like the likes of football and basketball. Not necessarily the money, but from the international standpoint, these kids, as you say, they can't earn NIL money outside of the Alston, as you're speaking about the $6,000. But MTSU, kind of for those that don't know that situation, how does that work for those international kids who can't earn NIL money? What are their options?
Yeah, that's why I'm pushing the Student Impact Fund. So my goal is to raise the money so that I can get each student athlete the $6,000 on my team, and that's how that's the first phase of the program is to that Boulevard event to start to build that fund up. And so then all the international student athletes can get that money, and domestic student athletes can get that money, but it has to be equal. So and I'm really big on that, to keep the locker room, good graces in the locker room. I don't want one guy to get, an extra of this, and then he's upset at him because he didn't practice well today, or, oh, I had beat him in practice, he lost, or, whatnot. So yeah, I feel like it's a big thing for us in our program, and for me as an equivalency sport, that can help me supplement tennis scholarships and academic scholarships. So and can I can get more bang for my buck as I continue to recruit, and I'm currently looking for some guys for next year. So um, it's a big thing. I know the whole athletic department is really pushing for it. I mean, for all sports, currently each student athlete is getting $1,000 out of the 6,000. And so we're trying to build on that. And that's a huge effort already, to kind of get us going at the mid-major level, if you like to say that word or phrase. I'm not a huge fan of it, but that's a good step. A lot of our colleagues, should we say, like at Memphis, they don't give any Alston money. So the goal is to be ahead of the curve. In our conference, Liberty fully funds Alston. So that's $6,000, that their student athletes are getting. And so, for us to compete with them, we've got to step up our game.
Right. That's a good insight into that too, as far as what it takes to be a step ahead of your fellow opponents. Talk about conference, and you compare it to like to the likes of Liberty. That's a good insight. Are there any other ways, as far as fans or supporters of MTSU or the program, that they could help in those regards outside of you mentioned the Boulevard thing coming up this Monday, but is there anything else?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I got projects coming out my ears. My wife's ready to kill me. But I've actually also started a men's tennis endowment program fund. So basically, an endowment can be started with $25,000, and then the program will get 4% of the money from the investment will be reinvested into the endowment, and then the coach can use 4%. So a lot of our we had an amazing coach named Buck Bolden and his wife Martha Bolden that the courts are named after,
Mm-hmm.
in which he coached the team for 12 years for $1 a year. $1. He was an attorney on the square. Great coach, great man, supported me the moment I got here at campus. And so the endowment is named after him. And it's now, so helping support the program. And it's helping me with our budget and putting money towards Alston for our student athletes. And, it ensures that our program is going to be around for the long haul. And so, the way I do things is I reach out to our relationships with people I know, and I ask them, what do they think is best? What would they like to do with their investment? And see what they want to do, because at the end of the day, it's their decision. I just kind of share some ideas and what's going on, and let them make choices.
Right. Very cool. Very good insight there as far as what goes on behind the scenes there to help student athletes in the program collectively. Coach, before I let you go here, I know you got a lot of things to do. I want to know, you got your fifth ring now. Do you start sizing your thumb, or is it still the ring finger?
Let me show you this. Jake, you haven't come to my office yet, but my new office is it's not a trailer anymore. It's beautiful. We got the trophies all over, but my wife got this for me, and when you walk in my office, you can see
Oh, wow.
the display case. And it's I haven't brought a recruit into campus yet to kind of show off what I got.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. And so yeah, we're gonna start working on the next one and designing it and showing it off. And I tell recruits when they come in that this is what we're playing for these guys. And yeah, it gets the guys pretty excited, because who doesn't want to compete for championships? And
Right.
I know I do. So
Right, and impressive. And again, of those that missed the presentation, there's a lot of empty spots there. They still got plenty of room to grow in that cabinet.
I make that very clear. When the young guys come in the office, and they talk about it quite a bit. So yeah, I'd like to get a bigger case, but we'll see. So as the old faculty athletic representative Terry Whiteside said, the goal is to get each guy to graduate with a diploma in one hand and a ring in the other hand. And I remember that the first time I met him, and that's something that I think as a whole department, it's a great phrase, and that's what we want. We want that for all the sports. So I know I'm excited to get online and see how golf is doing, because golf was doing really well yesterday, and Coach McIntyre does a phenomenal job with the men's team. So let's get a couple more titles for the department this week.
Absolutely, and Coach Borendame is not shorted anyone on any opportunity to get their rings if they join the program. So great stuff from him as always. He's more than just a tennis man; he's an MTSU man, and he fully supports everyone any way that he can. And as he's already spoken today about his constantly running mind to help everybody. So I hope everyone is able to show up there at the Boulevard. And obviously where that money goes is to a good place. But Coach, I absolutely appreciate your time, and the best of luck coming up this week in the NCAAs.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Hopefully we're going to either go to Knoxville, Starkville, or Lexington. So I know we'll try to rally some folks to come out and, see what kind of damage we can do in the tournament.
Absolutely. Thanks, Coach.
No, thank you. Appreciate it.
Great stuff from head men's tennis coach Jimmy Borendame to break down his upcoming week as they prepare for the NCAA tournament. For those that missed the news yesterday afternoon, the Raiders are headed to Starkville, Mississippi, where they will face off against Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets in the first round of the NCAA tournaments, followed by a potential round of 32 rematch with Mississippi State. For those that saw that matchup earlier this year here in Murfreesboro, the Raiders did defeat Mississippi State by a score of 4-3. So exciting news. You got a matchup with Georgia Tech, and then another matchup potentially with the host school, the 16th seeded Mississippi State Bulldogs, a game that that you can win. So a lot to look forward to. That series will begin this Friday in Starkville. So keep your eyes peeled. I haven't seen a time posted yet, but I am recording this Monday afternoon, so something could come up as early as Tuesday as far as the specifics on time. So exciting news for the men. Hopefully, as Borendame alluded to in our interview today, looking to move on to that round of 16. And a lot of stuff goes into preparation for that matchup this coming Friday. So good luck to the Raiders this weekend, and hopes that they can finally move into the round of 16 and make history for MTSU athletics. Now, time to move on to other news on the end of last week. As I alluded to at the beginning of the episode, you've got a lot of big additions on both the men's and the women's side. The men's pick up two transfer portal pickups. One is Issam Mustafa. He is a 6'9" forward from Cairo, Egypt. He is transferring to MTSU from TCU, but he spent 3 years at Coastal Carolina prior to joining the Horned Frogs. And when he was at Coastal Carolina, he made quite the name for himself. It was a walking double-double his junior year there at Coastal Carolina, where he averaged 12.4 points per game, 10 rebounds per game. He led Sunbelt with 16 double-doubles on the year. So we know this is a guy that can perform at a high level at the mid-major level. Got his opportunity there in the Big 12 for TCU. Didn't get the minutes I think deemed necessary. So for him to be able to come back to the mid-major level, hopefully make a big name for himself. He shoots the ball at a pretty high clip for a forward. He's going to be very similar in size to that of what we saw with Jared Coleman-Jones, but I do believe that he's a much more skilled scorer, one of the best offensive rebounders in the country when he was at Coastal Carolina. So he definitely adds a jolt to that starting lineup. When you lose Jared Coleman-Jones, he's going to be an instant plug there at the 5 spot, I do believe. He doesn't have the length that you may be looking for, but at 6'9", we're able to get the job done with Jared Coleman-Jones. So you would like to think that you have the same opportunities with Mustafa that you've lost now with Jared Coleman-Jones. Then also in adding length, they pick up Kamari Lands, which is an absolutely unforeseen pickup for the Raiders. It's a huge news for him. Those that don't know Lands, out of high school, he was a unanimous top 100 selection. I believe he was ranked as high as 39th in the country, according to ESPN's 100 class of 2022. Coming out of high school, he averaged 33 points per game, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, shooting on 55%. And he played for a top 25 high school program in Hillcrest Prep, which is out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Out of Arizona. He is from Indianapolis. From there, he went to Louisville out of high school, and then he transferred last season into Arizona State. Since being in college, we haven't seen that scoring production that he displayed in high school, but you would like to think when he is able to get into a mid-major level that he could potentially see an increase in that production on the scoring side of things. And it's just kind of virtue of playing in large conferences like Louisville does in the ACC and then Arizona State in the Pac-12. So when he comes here, he could be an instant addition where he that scoring production reappears just given the level of the competition. And I think if you're Nick McDevitt, if you're the Blue Raiders right now, you're looking to find ways to be competitive in your own division. We're not looking to be a top 25 team. And someone like Kamari Lands could certainly take this team to the next level. And as I've spoken to many people off the podcast, I think it's vital when you're talking about the transfer portal pickups that you find guys that make your team instantly better. And someone like Kamari Lands, Issam Mustafa, they both do that for you. They make the team better. I think Mustafa is more of an impact on the starting five. When you look at Kamari Lands, I don't know where the scouting is in regards to McDevitt and his staff, but he's definitely a depth piece, if not more than that, for the Raiders. So exciting news to hear about Mustafa and Lands both ending up here in Murfreesboro. That's 5 total now for the men's basketball program. And again, that roster has gotten better over the offseason. So a lot of promise for those guys moving forward. The biggest thing for me is this team competitive in Conference USA? And right now, I feel that it is. One thing that I have speculated on is a return for Justin Porter. I have no background on that at all. I have no sort of rumor that is milled, but that's just my pure speculation that I don't know how much luck Porter has had in the transfer portal, but if he had the opportunity to come back, again, I don't know where he stands in regards to the program with Nick McDevitt and his former teammates, but if you were able to add him back in, he would give you a proven score on the roster that could help this team tremendously. As it sits right now, you only have 2 players in the previous season that averaged double digits. That's Jalen Counter from IUPUI and then Alec Oglesby from Stetson. And as I said on a previous episode, Oglesby is more than likely the only player on roster that's going to actually start. I would project that Counter is going to be the backup to Cam Weston. So right now you only have 1 player that averaged double figures in last season. Now, you have guys that are capable of it, like I already mentioned, Kamari Lands and then Issam Mustafa, but given the production of last season, you only have 1 true proven scorer. So if you're able to somehow get Justin Porter back, assuming things are on good terms, I would like to think that the roster does improve upon last year. And especially now that you have the depth at point guard with Counter and with Cam Weston returning, that Porter can finally play his true position of shooting guard and hopefully, even see a heightened sense of production from what we saw last season. So that's just pure speculation on my part. I have no rumor that would lead me to believe that's going to happen, but I do think that if it were to happen, it would be for the greater good of MTSU and that roster. So stand by on that. If that doesn't happen, I still believe that there's there's still a few more pieces that McDevitt's looking to add. There's still a few scholarships left out there where those positions would be. I would assume it's going to be in the forward, but if you find a guard that's willing to come here that is, a proven scorer, I think that you may take that as a priority, because those that watched MTSU this last season would know that the scoring production was a big falter a reason for not having success this last year. On the Lady Raiders side, though, you do get another pickup in the transfer portal. You have Emily Monson. She is a 6'1 guard. She is transferring to MTSU from Purdue, but most will know her name from her days at Blackman High School here in Murfreesboro. Highly sought after recruit out of Blackman High School. For those that know mid-state basketball would know that Blackman High School is a winner and has been for a very long time, holding a national championship there with Crystal Dangerfield. So she comes from great hands here in Murfreesboro and fits that INSOL mold that we always talk about having a proven winner on your roster. In high school, she averaged 16 points per game on 44% shooting, over 1,000 points in her career there. Won over 100 games, only lost 16 in her high school career. So an exceptional athlete there in high school. Didn't get very many minutes at Purdue, so you don't necessarily know how much of a contributor she's going to be immediately because we don't have much college film on her. But there should be some things about her that would lead you to believe that you're building a lot of depth. Her being a guard and a wing, she would play that 2-3 position. At 6'1", she may be able to play the 4, but given what I've seen of her, she is definitely more of a guard, so she's definitely a depth piece because I think you're pretty set in your ways with Gregory and Scott. But if those were to play tougher defense, Monson would be the first one off the bench. Given the way the roster construct is right now, anything could happen, and of course the evaluation could change over the summer. But she's coming off of her freshman year, so she's going to have 4 years of eligibility. This could definitely be a piece that you develop, you grow. She's in her home city now. She definitely has a lot more comfort here. So exciting to see that pick up for a multitude of reasons. But again, having great quality depth can never go unnoticed. And I know that anyone that listens to us over at gomiddle.com knows that I've spoken about how this team may be set up to forcefully play more than 6-7 players that we're accustomed to in the Rick Insell era. I think this is by far the most talented team that we've ever seen. And I said the same thing about this last year's team, and that says a lot about what we're looking forward to this upcoming 24-25 season. I think this is the most talented Lady Raiders basketball team we've seen yet, and plenty of reason to be excited, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that not only is the starting 5 improving, but the depth is also improving as well. Then on the high school pickup side of things, the Raiders finally get 2025 signee Blair Bogus, someone that they have been going after heavily for the last 2 years. She's a 6-foot power forward out of Waynesboro, Tennessee at Wayne County High School. She was a Miss Basketball winner 2 seasons ago, her sophomore year. So big news there. One thing that is kind of ironic or funny about Bogus and where she comes from as a 1A student athlete, she went up with Savannah Davis, 2024 signee from McKenzie, quite regularly. Savannah Davis won her Miss Basketball her sophomore season and also won Miss Basketball this last season for McKenzie. Wayne County, where Bogus is from, has been a lot more successful this last year, but they had a lot of head-to-head matchups, being that they're both from West Tennessee. So you have a lot of continuity there, or at least a lot of familiarity within the roster when you talk about Blair and then incoming freshman Savannah Davis. So that's a pretty cool tidbit there as far as being that competitive team. And back to what I was talking about, Monson coming from Blackman and being a successful school. Same with Blair at Wayne County. They've been a very successful program, made the NCAA State Tournament, and I would say without a doubt their upcoming senior year that they would make a return there. So for those that are looking to get out, take a look at our 2025 class this next year when they come to the Murphy Center. You can look at Blair Bogus from Wayne County, as well as Carson Swaney, who's in the same 2025 class from Heritage High School. So a lot of talent there. It does appear that the Raiders are still looking to add a few more pieces to that class of 2025, having a couple offers go out to centers this last week. So it does appear that they're putting a lot of their energy into getting that length at the center position for the upcoming class now that Grabowski is in the portal. But you got some promising pieces that have offers out right now. They still look to be going heavily for that 2025 class. But as things sit right now with Blair Bogus and Macy Pfeiffer out of Ingomar and Mississippi, and as I said, Carson Swaney out of Heritage and East Tennessee, the 2025 class is a really good class. And I talk about how good that this upcoming season could be for the Lady Raiders. 2025 could be even better. It's time to move into the Raider wrap-up portion of the episode where we go over last week's athletics in MTSU sports, beginning with baseball. They dropped their midweek contest in Clarksville against Austin P by a score of 10-16. I'll give a shout out to Trace Phillips, who goes 2 for 3 with 2 runs and 4 RBIs, including a home run. And then on the weekend, the Raiders dropped their series in the 100 Miles of Hate edition with the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. They did pick up the first game win on Friday night by a score of 16-9, and a big shout out to Brett Von Dolan from Stewart's Creek High School here in Murfreesboro. He goes 4 of 5 on the night with 3 runs and 10 RBIs, including 3 home runs, and 2 of which were grand slams. And very rarely does someone get an opportunity to not only hit a grand slam, but very rarely do they get that opportunity twice and capitalize both times. So already a record that was held by Drew Huff, who had 8 RBIs in a game, also another Murfreesboro guy. But to do it in fashion with 10 RBIs on 3 home runs, I don't know that that's something that could ever be topped again. So very impressive stuff for those that got to witness that on Friday night. Very special, coming from a local guy. So big congrats to Von Dolan and the win on that Friday night. But the Raiders did drop the final 2 games of that series on Saturday by a narrow margin of 3-4, losing the game there in the top of the 9th, and then on Sunday by a score of 4-7. The one good news about picking up a game there on Friday night is the ability to keep your postseason hopes alive. They're going to have one more series, or 2 more series, I should say, one more important than the other against Jacksonville State, who is currently in last place. And to get into Conference USA Tournament, you have to finish in the top 8 of the 9 teams, so you can't finish last. And as things sit right now, you've got a 2-game cushion on Jacksonville State, but you cannot afford to lose 2 games to Jacksonville State and put you behind the 8 ball in the tiebreaker there. So you've got to make sure you pick up 2 of 3. You have to make sure you pick up 2 of 3 against Jacksonville State on the road. And then, unfortunately, you end the season against one of the top teams in the conference, that is Dallas Baptist, a top 25 caliber team. Unlikely to get much against them, but you feel good if you give yourself an opportunity to make the postseason if you can at least win 2 against Jacksonville State coming up this next weekend, or in the weekend after next, because this next week it's solely non-conference. They'll start their midweek series tonight, a home matchup against North Alabama, and then they will be on the road to end the week in New York against Binghamton, looking to avenge that 0-3 sweep from the Bearcats they experienced earlier in the season. I got a little ahead of myself last week when it comes to softball. I got my dates wrong, but softball does conclude their regular season this weekend at home. They will face New Mexico State here, and they will also honor their seniors this weekend. But the first pitch of that series is Friday, the 3rd at 6 p.m. Saturday's game is at 4, and then Sunday is at 12 noon. Again, that'll be your last opportunity to see the Lady Raiders. They are going to miss the cut for the Conference USA Tournament, so get on out there, support your seniors for their last home series of the season. Men's golf, they wrapped up their Conference USA Championships this last week, and they were just 2 strokes short of making the match play. They finished 5th out of 8 teams. Michael Barnard finished tied for 5th at 1 stroke under par. Kevin Jeggers tied for 19th at 6 over. Owen Stamper tied for 24th at 7 over. And then Luke Perkins tied for 28th at 8 over. The men's golf team, just, I guess, as I said, 2 strokes from making match play to UTEP. UTEP was able to actually move on to the finals of the match play and gave Liberty a run for their money. It was a real tight race. Unfortunately for the Raiders, they just missed out on it after a strong start. Don't forget to follow the show on all of our social medias at Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Blue Raider Pod, as well as our YouTube channel, Blue Raider Podcast. For those that haven't stopped by, I do encourage you to check out our website, BlueRaiderPodcast.com. Got a brand new design on there. It looks sleek, looks clean. Got a lot of exciting announcements coming forward with NIL opportunities, as I've been talking about in the past. So, of course, our store is on there. We do have a soft opening on the website if you want to support the show. All the links are all on there for you. So hit up that website if you're looking to do that. We'll make a larger opening sometime in the summer, but all of the stuff is available to order today. So just feel free to stop on by the website. Again, that's BlueRaiderPodcast.com to shop some merchandise and support the show. We will be back next week, again, wrapping up some more spring sports stuff. We hope to have some more transfer portal pickups for both men's and women's. They still have some spots available, some scholarships available to fill. So stay in touch with us as we make hopefully an announcement for the show coming forward. And until next time, go Blue.